This is probably where we'll cut. We'll just start the episode over from this point.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I didn't even know we began. I started recording, but
what episode is this?
Good question. 6?
Is it 6? 7? 6, 7, 6.
What makes an ad memorable?
What makes an ad effective?
Does anyone other than Erik and Matt care?
Answers to these questions and everything their wives never wanted to know about advertising await you in this episode of Erik and Matt Like Ads. Okay, welcome to Erik and Matt Like Ads, episode 6 and/or 7. We've got a rip-roaring show for you. We are going to do two things today. Number one, we're going to razzle you. Then after that, when you're sufficiently razzled, we're going to dazzle you. In that order. You can tell Matt's leading the charge on the razzle today.
As I always do.
As I always do.
As I always do.
Enthusiasm, I would say, okay, you know what? People say, who is this Matthew Zelasco fella? And I say, really great question. I'm not even sure I know who he is, but I describe you. I use words like effusive. I use words like gregarious. I use words like affable. These are the things that I say. I say supercharged. I say edge of your seat, these are the things I say, unbuttoned flannel, I say a nautical Wilfred Brimley, these are you're not really looking too nautical today, by the way. You're looking like an old timey, Major League Baseball Wilfred Brimley, Look, you can bring it. Give it back to me. Give it back to me. Come on. Come on. Give me something. Give me something. Make fun of my appearance. All right.
I really don't want to. I typically take the high road, and I think anyone that knows me would agree with that. I always take the high road. I do not tease anyone for any reason ever. I would not tease you about your slight receding hairline or your kind of trendy hipster glasses.
Thank you.
Or even these, really, really silly cardigans. I would never do that. That would just be. Do you know
which one this is? Can you do that? Is this one familiar to you? This is a notable one. I don't have any like this. This is the only one in this part of my collection. It's the Waverly. It's the Waverly. You know what the Waverly was made famous by?
Taylor Swift.
How'd you know that? No, man, the dude, Jeffrey Lebowski,
I definitely didn't know that, but
yeah, this is the one, not this one. This is a replica of it, but in the Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges' character wears this Waverly. It's called the Waverly sweater. And so my wife she knows how much I like the Big Lebowski. And so a couple Christmases ago, this was under the old Christmas tree. You didn't say anything about my teeth though. That's usually a good go-to.
I got bad teeth. I got bad teeth too. Also, I want to take
my sweaters get stuck on this one. It kind of, they snag. I got a lot of snags. That's what happens.
Yeah. I do want to take back the quip about the receding hairline. You can't help that. It's
really getting bad. It's creeping though, dude. Look at that. It used to be like right here. It's like I got a whole like triangle of skin that's now exposed. I have to SPF this up. I got to SPF that, right? If I don't, I'm going to burn. It's also doing it on this side. It's just the way I lay my hair. I'll tell you when my hair's a little longer right now. When I trim my hair, it's less noticeable. It's still the same bald spot. You just don't notice it as much.
I want to say that I prefer your hair a little bit longer. I've seen it, a little shorter. Hey. I like it like this. It looks very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that about you. Yeah. So now that we've given the people what they want, why don't we give the people what they don't want? You want to talk about an ad?
Only if we have to.
I believe to have integrity, I think we have to talk about an ad. We don't have to do it for long, but I do think we have to marginally address an ad.
Okay, if we have to. So today I have selected the ad from Childline, which I know as a nonprofit organization, I believe in the UK.
That's the United Kingdom, folks.
Yes. The ad is called Nobody is Normal. I think we should just jump right into it because what else?
What a great setup.
Yeah, I know.
What a great setup.
I'm very good at this.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I'm going to have Patrick edit this out anyways, so don't
I'm
you
going
worry.
to send him a private message asking him not to listen to you. Wait for it.
When you were before, couldn't look you in the eye, just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry, but I'm a creep.
All right, I get it now. You said that this one that we were going to watch this week is a metaphor for your life, and I wasn't sure exactly what you meant, but now that I see the ad, I get it. I get it. And y'all want to let you know you're perfect the way that you are, Matt. Okay, and all that stuff I said earlier about you being, nautical Wilford Brimley, I didn't mean that stuff.
I just wanted you
That was
to.
all just set up. That was just all set up.
I really just wanted you. Yeah. How ironic is it that we open this episode teasing each other, and then we move to this.
And right now, the audience is thinking, how brilliant are these guys that they set it up that way? No, it's how pathetic are these guys?
Yeah.
They were actually really teasing each other.
Yep.
Not even thinking that we were about to watch an ad that was going to chasten us, right? And illuminate us.
Yeah. I do think that there's a difference between playful teasing, which is I think what you and I do.
Of course, yeah, we do it in the spirit of love.
Right. Teasing among friends and like feeling like you're out of place, right? And I know it was a joke, but I certainly felt at least somewhat the way our main character in this felt, like you were hiding things, like your true self in some ways, or at least on some level. And I think on some level, everyone can relate to that, even those that were, the popular kids. Not to say that I wasn't, but spoiler alert.
No way, man! Come on, I find that hard to believe.
It's true. I was not.
It's
I was not
weird.
amongst the popular kids.
I also wasn't amongst the. I know.
What?
I know, man. Yes, I know, and I've never admitted that to anyone before, and no one's ever probably considered that could be true. They look at us, they see us, they say, "Well, but they're handsome. They have a super successful podcast with literally, I mean,
we have tens of views,
tens of subscribers.
I don't think we have that.
No, we have like 7. But you know what? you got to start somewhere, and seven's a lucky number, right?
There we go.
So, if there are any gamblers in the house, all right. Anyway, yeah, keep going, buddy, keep going.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is a safe space, Matt. I'm listening.
Well, a couple of things about it that I really like, and then maybe a couple of questions that I have, or maybe a question that I have that I hope that you can shine some light on.
You can ask me anything, you know that.
Cool, good. Thank you for that. One, obviously, I really like that they are not just like telling you nobody's normal, because I think a lot of nonprofits, a lot of causes sort of just want to get the word out there, and the creativity gets kind of lost, or just they can't afford it, maybe. Whatever the case is, it's often like, hey, it's okay to have these feelings, like you're alone. Everybody does. But when you just say like, oh no, everybody feels that way, nobody listens. They go, yeah, bullshit. That's just what you say to people who feel that way, right? Like, I don't believe you. And I think that this.
Have you heard that a lot before, man? Is there people said that a lot too?
Yeah. Yes.
It's okay. That sounds hard.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Anyways, no. I like, rather than just saying it, rather than trying to raise awareness, because who are they really trying to raise this awareness with? Is it necessarily the kids, or is it necessarily like potential donors, people that are in a position to help children? Because one ad spot or dozens of them aren't necessarily going to reach children in a manner that is going to make them feel a whole lot better. It's the people that are around these kids that can be equipped with this type of realization, that are going to help kids realize that nobody is normal. And I think they do that in a really creative and effective way, by telling a story that I think we can all at least somewhat relate to. Even if you never went to a school dance, you've seen a movie or a TV show where this exact thing is depicted. The lunchroom scene. Oh no, I have to. There's a dance. Oh no, I feel awkward. I especially like the noises that like the yarn body makes. And I that's actually where my question is, and I'll get back to that in just a second. But I think we've all felt that kind of anxiety of like, I can't let my true self out because it's weird. It's not normal. I'm not normal. And I really like the way that they present it. Then Radiohead's Creep, which is the song of this spot, I think is absolutely perfect for it. Not only because of just the sound of it, the kind of awkward, like the awkward guitar parts, which I've always loved from that song, or the lyrics that are very obviously talking about being a creep. The story behind that song is Tom York maybe had a crush on a girl, and he just felt awkward. I mean, I don't know if you, Eric, know a whole lot about Radiohead or Tom York, but he's got some eye issues going on, and I think it really affected him as a child, and growing up. It was tough to deal with, and he had no. He didn't have the confidence to speak to this girl, which is a little odd, because nowadays, he's so full of himself that
You guys hang out a lot, or
it's almost what's that?
You guys hang out a lot, you and Tom?
Yes, we do.
That's cool.
I've seen him in interviews. I guess he's somewhat unbearable to listen to, talking. But
I know what that's like.
I'm losing. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm losing the thread here.
Oh, I get it.
I
see what
like
they
that the
did.
song is genuinely about kind of like what the ad is trying to convey. I thought that that was nice. Now, my question for you, Eric. The noises that these threads make, it evokes some kind of emotional response in me. I don't exactly know how to put it, but I think you are very good at figuring this stuff out. I hope that it's something that you have kind of honed in on yours, and I'm going to let you take it away here, I guess. What is that? Like why did they make that decision? It's like a really kind of like tactile feeling, like you can like almost feel like what you're hearing. Kind of neat.
Yeah, I agree. And folks, this is live, unscripted. We have not practiced this before. All right. He's asking me a question and I'm trying to give him a cogent answer. This is live stuff, right? This is like we're sawing through somebody on stage, right? If something goes wrong, the consequences are very real. So I appreciate that question, Matt.
You wish I would have asked it several hours ago? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. I like the impromptu. I'm an impromptu kind of guy. I don't know if you figured that out about me. You know, I'm very comfortable in the moment because that really is the only time that we have. Am I right? Yeah, I agree that it is very, very effective. It enhances the experience of the ad.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it as well. And what I would say is why the best answer I can give, which is just what comes to mind, and I don't know how, does this really explain it? I'm not sure it explains it, but this is what comes to mind, is that think of a vivid mental image, okay? The goal of, I believe, strong communication, part of it is to create a vivid mental image. The more vivid the mental image, the more personal it is, the more memorable it becomes. So what makes a vivid mental image? Because when we think mental image, I think typically because of the terminology, the nomenclature, if you will, you think image, you think what you see. That's often what you think of when you think mental image. You think your mind's eye. What is the eye? It's what you can see. I'm here to propose that a vivid mental image is more than what you can see, that a vivid mental image incorporates all senses. So that a vivid mental image is not just what you see, but it's what you hear. It's what you smell as a result of it. It's what you think you can feel, right, as a result of it. It's all the senses. Taste, I guess, in a strange way, right? When someone describes to you dumping out a jar of pennies and nickels and dimes into your hand, you can taste that, even though technically you're not right now tasting that thing. So I would think that they're incorporating it probably because at this level, I mean, this is baller stuff. This ad is amazing, right? They're not accidentally choosing creep. They're not like, hey, it's cool. So like, no, they're clearly doing that on purpose. So they're probably like, how do we make this as vivid as possible? So they're probably like, you have to be able to feel it. How can we get it so you could feel this? Well, you can't feel the ad, but you can hear it. So let's give them a sound that translates to a tactile sensation. So that would be whether they said it explicitly like that or not, who knows? But that would be my best guess. That's what's going on there.
I like that answer. Genuinely, sorry to put you on the spot like that, but
smell this. You smell that? Smell that. What is that?
I can't smell it.
Celery. It's the strangest thing. It's a rye whiskey, all right? And I swear, like one of the most profound things you get on the nose is celery. How cool is that? Celery in a whiskey. No celery used in the making of the whiskey. chemical compound reproduced through the aging process. Is that bizarre? Anyway,
No, I suppose so.
you were saying.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Let's talk about pop music. No, let's talk about a comment you made earlier about what's the ad about, like what's the ad for, right? Or like what, you know, so
Yeah, who is it for?
who's it for? I propose that it is for two main audiences.
Mm-hmm.
The first being, and not necessarily the primary. I'm not sure who the primary audience is here. Okay. But I do believe there are two main audiences. It is children, adolescent children primarily,
Mm-hmm.
and their parents or guardians.
Okay. Yeah.
And I believe that for a couple reasons. One, because they want you to go to a website. Did you go to childline.uk.org?
I did not.
I think that's the URL. I did. And when you go there, there's lots of content. You know who it's for?
Parents.
Adolescent children.
Oh.
There might be, I mean, I glanced over it. There might be some content for parents. There probably is some content for parents.
Sure.
It's for the kids. We're doing this for the kids, Matthew. All right. So I think it's definitely for the kids because they want you to go to the website. And maybe you're a parent that goes to the website and says, hey, these are some of the issues my kids are dealing with, and I'm going to show them this website. And hey, you know, which immediately the kid's not going to go to the website because it was shown to them by their parent. But like, so what's some of the topics? Like very bold, and this is the UK as well. So let's face it, like us here in the good old US of A, we're a bit more proper about some things in some you know kind of senses. So there's a thing about like online porn. You have questions about it.
Oh, yeah.
Deal with it, right? Like that's like an article you can read as an adolescent on this website, which I think that's like very interesting and like that's cool, right? I didn't read the article, so maybe I'm like,
it's a reality,
right?
Know,
but it's what's exactly it's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if we could promote something like that here without a bunch of people being like, "Holy crap," you know?
Yeah.
So I think,
and I wouldn't say that we're more proper. I would say we're more puritanical. I think is
stronger word. Okay.
You know, yeah. Well, I definitely think of, you know, the British as kind of a proper people, right? Like they, you know, but
formal,
but not necessarily formal, but not repressed, right? Like not necessarily repressed. Whereas I think we certainly have a pretty not major problem, but we have a tendency to just avoid those types of
well, and to our own detriment, right? Because they're not even saying there, hey, you know what's great is online porn. I don't think that's even the point of that article. They're saying, hey, this is a thing that people have mixed feelings about. You're trying as an adolescent, you're not even sure how you feel about it.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a decent amount of evidence that suggests that you know, maybe it's not the healthiest thing, you know, and so like. But people struggle with that, right? And how they feel about it and whether or not they interact with it. And so I think as a parent of an 11-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son, your mind's on like, you know, okay, like how much screen access do I want to give? I'm blocking things. I'm, you know, got parental controls and stuff. So like this is definitely a concern for parents. I think many parents are concerned about this as well. So I think that, yeah, if you can be so proper or puritanical because you think you're doing the right thing, but you're actually creating a self-fulfilling prophecy by doing that thing, by not educating, by not having conversations, by not dealing with these things directly in a head-on fashion, you know? So I think kudos to Childline for doing that, by the way, and for the way that this ad, you know, leads to generating that kind of conversation. I would also think that like, you know what, you know who really loves Radiohead?
Who?
Adolescent children. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Adolescent children love Radiohead. No, of course we do, dude. Yeah. The people who are the parents of these children now love Radiohead. I love that song. I love Radiohead. You know, so I remember that was like someone gave me a mixtape with that Radiohead song on it, you know? So I also think that this is appealing to parents because you use that Radiohead song, and parents, we're young enough in our late 30s, early 40s to be like, Yeah, I remember that.
Mhm.
You know what? Actually, to your point, by the way, I still feel like that sometimes. I still feel like I'm that ball of yarn that is waking up every day and is cramming myself into, to use a colloquialism from the first Men in Black, an Edgar suit. You know what I mean? So,
Sugar, water.
dude, that was so good. D'Onofrio really played that well, did he not? Didn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, so I think that the subject matter that they're dealing with is certainly relevant for adolescent children, but like, man, that's where we're at as parents. We're still dealing with this crap, this true self, fake self, persona, shadow. I mean, do we want to get weird? Do we want to talk about Carl Jung? Do we want to get into the psychology, the subconscious? It's heavy stuff. We're all dealing with it. Our success in life really hinges, I believe, on dealing with these issues of self, truth and falsehood, and being something that we aren't, so that we can get that out of the way, so we can be what we actually are, whatever the heck that actually is, right? But who we think we are, like, who am I? I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm an advertising guy. I'm a whiskey sommelier. I'm a musician. I'm a recreational hockey player. I'm a fill in the blank. I'm a right. I'm a B.
What?
But you know what? I'm actually none of those things. That's all persona. That's all identity. Those are all things that are technically, existentially, externally true about myself and my life, but that's not really who I am, right? And so we create these ideas of who we are and we live up to it. Why is it a coincidence? Like, was it Tracy, right, that made the joke about, wow, shocking that like two hipster-ish looking white dudes are like talking about ads or whatever the thing is. It's like, why is it that we just so neatly fall into these roles and then take a look around? Like, I mean, I don't mean this to be disparaging. This is a great example. I'm driving home from the office last night, and I happened to drive past a gentleman's club on the way home. And outside, there's a few people. You almost never see people in the parking lot, because I feel like this is not the kind of parking lot that you loiter in, right? This is not, you don't hang around and like chum it up, right? But there's two dudes in the parking lot and there's a woman in the parking lot. And this woman in the parking lot is tall, is wearing high heels, has long hair, is wearing a long fur coat that goes down to about, her knees/calves. And she's carrying a flashy looking bag. And of course, I'm thinking she must be a dancer at this club, because like and I could be totally wrong on this, but like, that's what I think. But I'm like, okay, well, one, I automatically go there. Why? Because that's what I think the persona is for a dancer. Okay. And two, because probably that's correct. Why does she dress like that? Because she's playing a role based on how that role is defined. And this is what you grow up in watching over and over. And the media gives it to you. You get it everywhere. It's in advertising. We contribute to this in a way, hopefully not detrimentally, but we create stuff that contributes to this.
Sure.
These lifestyle, aspirational oriented type things. And so it's no wonder that we just continue to wear these costumes and we pretend. I joke or say like, I'm the best pretender. It's like, yeah, that's true, because that's really what we're doing. We're pretending to be who we are, wondering the whole while, who are we actually? And so as a father of two, realizing this now in my early 40s and trying to do the work to figure out who really is behind and underneath all this stuff that's been created in the first half of my life, like, how do I guide my children? And so I see an ad like this and I go, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. It's so true. It's true.
I think this is now Erik likes ads, as you are now the star of the show. No, I like, wow, that was like good, man. I really enjoyed that. That was like, I'm glad that I got drunk on lunch one day and asked you to do this podcast with me, because that's what I was looking for, man. That was fantastic. I have nothing to add. Because that was just wonderful.
Thanks. I've learned it all from other people and reading.
Of course.
Just so we're clear, right? Like, none of this is mine.
Yeah, it's not you.
None of it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. But that I mean, and in a way, like, we are, a product of our surroundings, and that kind of goes into the ad, and what you were saying, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for such a deep conversation.
Let's talk about you, Matt.
Okay.
Um,
Should I lay down on like a
if that
chaise?
makes you, why do you feel like you have to lay down?
No, I feel like we're about to get into some things right now. No, not really.
Why do you feel like we're about to get into some things?
Mhm.
Because that's the thing. I can't, everything has to be a question, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to be a question.
No, that's
Yeah.
good. No, I think it's a great ad. I think. Have you noticed that and this may probably at this point won't be obvious to the audience, but have you noticed that I gravitate towards ads from other countries?
You know,
now?
when you said you wanted to do this one, I'm like, I don't know what it is. Never heard of it. So then I looked at it and I'm like, of course, it's from the UK. Of course it would be.
Yeah.
Matt doesn't like any ads from the United States, and I don't blame you. But I'm glad you do, because one, I'm learning new things. It's exposing me to new ideas.
Yeah.
I'd never seen this before. So I think that's cool.
Yeah. I also just so happen to follow many people who are much smarter than me, much more successful than me, who I tend to learn a lot from on Twitter and LinkedIn, but mostly Twitter. And I believe that I uncovered this recently because this ad is from this year, or well,
I think I saw 2020 on it, yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah.
Close enough.
Right.
I mean, because a lot of these we're looking at like 10, 15, 20 years old or
Right.
whatever.
And it was a guy who I have a lot of respect for, Ryan Wallman. He's a copywriter at Wellmark. I believe that they're Australian. I really don't know, but I follow him on Twitter. I think his handle is at Dr. Draper. So he's got kind of like an interesting background. He was some sort of physician or something like that, and now he writes copy for the healthcare industry, which I thought was interesting. But he had happened to tweet out to Adland, as they say, can you think of something from the last year that is particularly good? And that, to me, he's probably writing another book, and he just is trying to grab some other opinions and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I saw that and I was like, this is a Twitter thread for me, because I gotta find new stuff, and I was like, hell yeah, like this is awesome. Not that he'll ever see this, but I do want to thank him for that and for everything that he's imparted on me. He actually has a really, really great, incredibly cheeky book called Delusions of Grandeur. I just go on Amazon or maybe his website or something like that and grab it. I'd give it to you, but I think I've already given it away at this point, because I wanted more people to see it. Yeah. It's hilarious. It's something that you can read like in a couple of hours, right? It's not like you're not going to glean anything like holy shit. It's just kind of poking fun at the advertising world in general, in a lot of different ways. But I really look up to him and like and respect him. And when I saw that he liked this, I was like, well, now I know. But no, of course, I also liked it. I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. Like, how can things like this exist in other countries? And I don't think I can come up with anything that is quite this good that I've seen in the last year.
Because of the subject matter.
Yeah, maybe. And that's a big problem, isn't it? Like, I mean, if we can't talk about like mental health, and because that's really what this is, right? Like, Childline was hearing a lot of issues, or a lot of, children, adolescents, whatever, talking, like that were unsure of their body image, or their, their gender, or their mental health, like things like that. And we talk a lot about, at least in the States, about how we should talk about it more, but then we kind of like get lost in this like, hey, we should talk about it, and then other people are like, no, we fucking shouldn't. That, and then we're like, no, you, yes, we should. No, you, no, we shouldn't. And then like that's where it ends,
Wow.
right? Like that's where it stays.
That sounds really angry, those conversations.
Sorry, man.
How does that make you feel?
You interrupting me makes me feel mad. No, I'm kidding. No, but
it's not an interruption, it's called an intervention. No, not that kind of intervention.
Here's to ya. No, but I do have some opinions on this, I guess, and and a lot of it is grounded in like I have, we both have children. Mine are much younger than yours, and but I still feel like I'm hopeful that like school and high school primarily is like a better experience for my for my daughter and my son than it was for me. Not that I had a particularly bad experience, right?
Yep.
Like
I think we should do this. I think we should start trading some of the traumatic experiences. So I'll go first, and then I'll set the tone for it. All right. I'm in 9th grade, and it's gym class. And now you see me, I'm strapping. I've got broad shoulders. I'm a pretty physical, kind of adult male now. But back in 9th grade, I wasn't even 5 foot yet, and I was like very lightweight, a small kid.
Sure.
So I was easy to pick up, really easy to pick up. And some of these, I was in gym class, and gym class was not segregated. So you've got 9th through 12th grade there. And
holy shit.
Some guys on, I went to Niagara Wheatfield, Falcons, anyone? So they, two of them, the seniors, football players, it's always the football players, nothing against, by the way, football players, but it's always the football players. And I'm sure now, by the way, they would feel horrible about this and be like, dude,
Sure.
we were just kids, and they were, right? So I don't hold any grudges here, but the trauma, by the way, that is created by this sort of stuff is very real. Your brain and body aren't thinking you were just a kid, they were just a kid. The trauma is still real, right?
Yeah.
So they pick me up, and they're taking me to the toilet. They're going to give me a swirly, and there's hooting and there's hollering. And of course, no one's doing a damn thing to stop them. I'm kicking and screaming, but I'm like 42 pounds. Like I can't do anything about this, and they lift me up and they get my head into the bowl, and then they drop me, just like they take me out, so that, of course, they never intended to give me the swirly. They just wanted to give me a reason to have to go to therapy when I was an adult, so that sort of stuff happened to me. I'm not going to say a lot of that stuff happened to me, but I had some of that stuff happen to me. How about you? You have anything you want to share?
Mine probably wasn't necessarily like a dramatic event, but more like I suppose kind of just feeling like I was not quite big enough, strong enough, cool enough, rich enough from like the right place. I went to Canisius High School, so I mean, and I was like among the poorest, like.
So that's a private school for those that are perhaps not
from
the area and familiar, and the tuition is a bit on the higher side for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so it does attract a certain element, I guess, from a social status standpoint. Sure.
Yeah, but and I don't know, like I think some of it was like self-inflicted. Like I felt like, and this goes back to this ad, right? Like maybe I didn't make friends with some of these people because I thought that they weren't going to give me a chance, so I didn't give them a chance, right? I put up a wall before any of that could have ever.
That's the plot to an episode in every single situational comedy series that's ever existed.
All right. Well,
okay. No, why? You know why though, Matthew? Do you know why? I'm not busting oranges here, right? You know why? Because it's true.
Yeah.
Because that's like a very real thing. I'm being funny about how I'm saying it, but I'm agreeing. It's a very real thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing totally dramatic like getting a swirly. I also, in some ways, in some circles, was probably the aggressor, right? Like the you know,
Mhm.
the bully in a way, not ever physical, because I was also quite small. um, but you know, I come from like we my whole family, we tease each other, and I, you know, I like to do that. We like to do that, and I think I've teased some people maybe a little bit past the point of their comfort, and especially when I was a kid, because I didn't really know any better. Also back then, it was not only okay but like cool to, you know, say, ah, you're gay, and, you know, and then worse slurs,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I mean, that was like just normal, right? Like,
Yeah.
ah, you're,
Yes.
it's gay, you know, you know.
Yeah.
And finally, and I'm ashamed to say how long it took me to like, oh, like stop doing that, to like
Mhm.
actually realize that like the the jokes that I think I'm making are harmful to other people. They can't, you know, they can't help being gay, and there's nothing wrong with it. And, you know, and I always believed that, right? But I
Mhm.
also thought that like, well, it's a joke, so you shouldn't, it shouldn't hurt you, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like that's not good.
Yeah. Well,
um
yeah. A joke to one is not. Yeah. It's not necessarily
right.
a joke to another. Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I admire you for being able to share that. And yeah, I had my fair share of being the aggressor, however that looked. I mean, you know, I actually was apologizing to my younger brother about a week or so ago, just for like doing some of the things that I did to him when we were younger. He's like, look, we didn't like mean those things. Like, yeah, I know I didn't mean them, I guess, like mean them. But now that I'm older and I realize what an a-hole I was being, like,
Yeah.
I can still apologize and say, Michael, I'm sorry for being an a-hole to you.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta
but
call
yeah,
my brother Paul.
I got a brother, Paul, too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, seriously, my older brother is Paul. Yeah.
I made my younger brother Paul jump into a an empty dumpster when he was about 9, in order to, quote unquote, join our club. And then
I want
me
to be a
and,
part of this club.
and then, yeah, I know, like, what an idiot. What kind of club do you think
It sounds like a pretty cool club.
this? And then me and my friend Frankie, we promptly ran away and left him there.
What a shocker. Could not have predicted that. Yeah, I mean, like, we all did it, right? I mean, not everyone did. There are probably some kids out there that were actually like really genuinely
Yeah.
good kids that did do that sort of crap. But I think on a level, most people have received it and they've dished it out.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as you get older, you realize, wow, that's actually hurtful, even when you don't think you're being hurtful. Um, I think what would make for an interesting podcast would be you'd have a guest. So there would be guests, right? You'd have a host and then you have guests. And the whole idea is you have guests on and they tell the story of when they peed their pants, but like when they were older than they should have been for peeing their pants, because everybody has had at least one. And I'm not even talking about like you had way too much to drink and could not control yourself
Yeah.
and peed your pants. I'm talking like legitimate situation where it maybe could have been prevented, but was not. And you peed your pants, because I feel like if everyone would, just like nobody is normal in the ad, everybody has peed their pants, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if we had a podcast where everyone told their this is how it went down when I peed my pants story, there would be no more wars, right? Like we would all, right, be holding hands in a giant circle that crosses, like, you know, whatever the globe, and we would be singing together in unison. You know, that's what would happen. So
So is this the title of this episode, Erik and Matt solve for world peace?
no, I think it's Erik and Matt peed their pants.
Okay.
Just because I feel like that title, you get more clicks with that title
Yeah,
than the one you
right.
suggest.
Right,
That's all
yeah.
I'm saying, right? I'm all thinking about clicks, right? I'm trying to build an empire here.
Cool. Yeah, clicks are the most important thing.
I
Cool.
really think you get, I'm not kidding. I think we get people to volunteer to ask to be on that podcast. I want to tell the world the I peed my pants story. Let's get
like
some
it.
feedback. All right. If anyone,
I like it.
because no one is, we're really pushing the time limit on this one. So
Yeah,
no
we
one's
are.
actually still watching. But Mom, if you want to comment on whether you think that's a good idea or not, and maybe go on to Facebook and send out a message to all of your cousins and friends on Facebook, asking them if they think that's a good idea. And then they can ask their adult children if they think it's a good idea. And then maybe we've got something. Because that's what moms do on Facebook, just so you know.
Okay, cool. Now I know, and the more you know.
Yeah. Hey, I've had fun this week. This has been
Me too. I think this is going to be
Do you feel like
a top?
whew, you know, like do you just feel like a weight's been lifted? Do you feel like you're just like was there some catharsis for you here?
Yeah, absolutely. And like not in a joking way. Like some of this is good to just sort of talk about, like, shit, this is why I wanted to start this. Like, because I knew that like talking about the thing that I have to do, that I like to do for a living with somebody else who does it is going to be fun. But then there's going to be other things that kind of, you know, the ripple effect that come up, right? And just an odd amount of similarities and like, but yet slight differences, right? So
yeah. So do we have to, are there any obligatories we should close out with here? Or
I don't think so. You know, I think.
Are we satisfied with 7 subscribers? Are we good with 7 subscribers?
That's totally enough. I don't want anyone else to subscribe.
So don't go to YouTube.
Or because Erik just said that, or said earlier that 7 is a lucky number. If you're thinking about subscribing and you see that you're going to be the 8th subscriber, maybe get 6 other friends.
Multiples of 7. Subscribe in multiples of 7. Get 6 other friends. Or get 13 other friends.
Beautiful.
Or get 20 other friends.
They don't even have to be friends. They could be your enemies. That would be fine too.
Absolutely. Cool. As long as it's a multiple of 7. That's, you know what? That's smart thinking, Matt.
That's what I'm here for. That's about it.
Yep.
Not much other than that. All right. I think that's the end of the podcast. What do you think?
Cheers.
Cheers to ya.
Clinky.
So I have this problem where I come up with ideas, I see them to about the beginning, and then I move and then I move on to the newest one. But however, the good thing about this idea is I want to start my own fucking
keep going, keep talking. I don't let that be the end of the sentence.
That's it.
Don't let that be the.
I just told you.
I can't be a part of this.
Should I stop recording?
Whatever.
Whatever. Who gives a shit?
I don't care. No one's recording.
This.
No, seriously though, I think a podcast where people come on and tell their I peed my pants story, I really do think the world's ready for that. I think the world wants that.
Awesome. I think that's fantastic.
Dude, this idea is like a riding in comedians with cars kind of idea. I'm not kidding. Right? I feel like you get Chris Rock to tell his I peed my pants story. You get Bill Clinton to tell his I peed my pants story, right?
Whatever you want to call
Using the parlance of our times. You see how I'm quoting The Big Lebowski? I did it like 3 times in the episode.
I did not notice because I like that movie. I don't know it as well as most people do.
Yeah. It knows. Here's the thing: The Big Lebowski knows you better than you know it. Let's just be clear about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Whatever you did say, like you needed something to tie it all together, because otherwise I just didn't know about it. You know.
No, I actually really only made like one reference. I used the word nomenclature, and right now I just said the parlance of our times.
Yeah. I was trying to make the rug ties it all together, ties the room together.
Dude, fucking A.
And I was like, well, Erik and Matt could live on there, and
Sure.
Bruce and BizDev could live on there, and Bruce and Brandon could live on
Oops,
there.
I
And
peed my pants could live on there.
absolutely, though.
Because that's what it's
Like
called.
that name. Don't
Oops, I peed my
overthink that.
pants. Yeah, that's right. That's why I know. As soon as it came up, I'm like, it's going to be called "Oops, I peed my pants."
And he's just got this personality that like draws, like people are drawn to him for some reason.
I bet he peed his pants once.
Definitely think he did, and he could be on your podcast.
Nice. The thing that, by the way, I appreciate you praising me and encouraging me in the podcast, you know, but I'm going to take that snippet. If that's the only piece of the podcast that people watch, I'm happy with that. That'd be fine. Cause I feel like that is not about ads, but it's adding a lot of value to people's lives. And that's why I want to do anything that I do, is because it's adding value to other people.
Genuinely, you do that to me, for me, right? To me.
I do a lot. I like to think that I do a lot of things to you, Matt.
I don't know if do you know who Rand Fishkin is?
Paul. I only know because Paul. Yeah.
You know, semi-famous guy. One of his suggestions were call out more people. If you want to grow your audience, call out people and then tag them in it, or send it to them or whatever, and they will share it. Like as long as you're saying nice things about them, of course.
Sure.
You know? So today I was like, well, this is where I got this. Why wouldn't I say that? Why would I hide that? Right? Like, why would I say, oh, I'm brilliant. I knew that this was a great ad. No, like his opinion matters a lot to me. Why wouldn't I call that out? So
yes, absolutely.
And hopefully he says, oh, great, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, and shares it.
So we should make a list of people we got to call out. Al Gore, inventor of the internet.
Right. Genius.
I mean, seriously, that's the kind of, I bet I could get him to tell me his oopsie peed his pants story.
I think we call out.
It was the 2000 election.
Yeah.
Him and W. Turns out they both peed their pants in that election.
On stage, but behind a podium, so you have no idea.
That's right. If you're gonna do it, that's how you do it. Why don't we stop the recording here?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea.